19 minutes past the hour of 10. A very good morning to you once again. We are back on your Power Music and Talk radio station, CRBC 105.5 Paradise FM Calabar, for a segment we choose to call Paradise Sunrise Pro Max. You really know I was going to say that. Okay, my name is Precious Sam, and I have Ime Mano in the building. Hi, Ime.
Always a pleasure being here with you. Even if you, I don't know.
Even if what?
We're supposed to. It's Paradise Extra, Paradise Sunrise
No, you
Extra.
chose Paradise Sunrise Extra, and I chose Paradise Sunrise Pro Max.
It's
The
okay.
same thing, but we're having a continuation from where we ended, by 10. We ended by 9.
9.
And now this is 19 minutes past 10. But we have a very important conversation that we must tackle today.
Yeah.
And that's why we are here right now. We have a guest who will be talking to us about a very dicey situation, something that always happens and something that we've kicked against. Maybe people still do not understand the impact of what we are going to be talking about, but that's why we are here. So, today, right now, our conversation is on female genital mutilation, FGM. We're going to be understanding what it is, why people still practice it, why people still do it, the effects of it, and why we need to stop. So after this conversation, we'll be moving forward from all this back and forth with FGM. And now this morning, join me as I welcome the executive director from Articare Initiative, a social worker by profession, and her name is Atom Esor to talk about this. Good morning, Atom.
Morning, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm good, very good.
Can see that.
Okay, so welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
This isn't your first time of being on CRBC, is it?
No, not the first time. Actually.
Okay. And how many times?
Okay, for the radio, I think this is the first.
Okay.
Then for the TV, I think about 3 times.
3 times. Okay,
Yeah.
we have MC Joe in the building, and he just gave us the same number 3, so he's aware of everything. Okay, so let's move straight up. Before we open the show right now, we had a very intense conversation on child care. And I got so emotional. We were talking. I got so emotional, man.
It's just I understand that you're a very
Mm.
emotional person. We thank God you have grown. You do.
Ime,
Yeah. Don't call me like that, my dear sister.
I'm gonna deal with it, but not you. We'll take it outside. All right, welcome to the show. Let's just move straight up. What is female genital mutilation?
Female genital mutilation is the act of removing the female genital without the person's consent. So this is mostly done for girls, and it is always done without their consent and without medical um um medical approval,
Okay.
because yes, it's not medically approved. Everything is not medically approved. So if you see such incident occurring, it's not a medical, it's just an act that is being done against ladies' consent. So that's it.
Okay. I want to ask, what are the reasons? What gives the reason? What are the reasons why this FGM is being practiced?
Yeah, what FJ is being practiced is because people have this mindset. Let me just use a simple case study. In some locality,
Yeah.
if you want to peer pressure and peer group, sorry, they do it just for you to be part of them. So if if they had this illusion that if a woman is not circumcised, she'll go into prostitution.
Hmm.
And the fact is, it's not even the real thing. They don't even know the side effects of what they are doing.
Hmm.
So they are making these people to undergo this process because of the selfish reasons. So some back then, a lot of parents firstly want their children to be circumcised because they don't want a situation when the children go to farm or to anything and they're being raped on the road.
Mm.
So you don't want to have that legacy. My child was being raped. So if you know that this person has been circumcised, you don't say, it's not gonna anything. So they felt to build their family name, they have to do that so that these people will not be raped and their children will not be labeled rape. So they had to circumcise them, but they didn't know the after effects I use this stuff to say, okay, if Satan had known that killing Jesus or anointing Jesus wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
So if they knew that doing this to bring a negative effect on these children, I think they don't know. Some of them think is a tradition. There are some communities that still practice it, that if you want to be among the peer pressure, I just want to, okay, I've been second,
I've been circumcised,
yes, I've been,
mutilated.
yeah, so you have to be. Then when this knowledge was not
Mm. So it
our,
brought some kind of prestige to
yes,
the
yes, yes, yes,
To
yes,
their
individuals.
yes,
peer group.
yes. So for you to be among the peer group, you have to be circumcised. It's not something that they just want to do, but now there's a lot of awareness question, and a lot of people are trying to, now those people that used to brag that time about how it is, you see them, they're not really talking. So now they're more enlightened, and they're not even scared, they're not even able to speak out. So if you see someone that speaks out, I was going through this was done for me, you should be able to, applaud the person and
Okay.
just encourage the person, because it's not an easy task.
Okay, so you said these people don't know the consequences of
Yeah.
FGM.
Yeah.
So let's know, what are the consequences of FGM?
The first time I saw the picture of that FGM, God, I felt like, I said, these people are wicked.
Hmm.
Well, first of is, they don't enjoy sex during childbirth. Those are one of the effects of it. During childbirth, that hole has
Hmm.
been closed, and they have to go through surgery. They have to cut it. So something that was being cut before and being stitched. Can you imagine a child that was being circumcised at the age of, let's say, 5, and that child has gone through that barbaric process then, and that place has gone healed, and they just leave only a hole. There's some places just only a hole that is left. There are some they just cut only the clitoris alone. So now a child cannot pass through there. So if you want to pass through there, it has to be cut, or they have to go through Sarah,
Section.
yeah. So is a very terrible experience, and even during their menstrual cycle, they have painful menstrual session during it, because the body has been tampered with. So it's not something you just,
Okay,
Okay.
moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apart from childbirth, difficulty during childbirth, and painful menstruation, are there any other consequences of this
psychosocial
FGM?
psychologically, um they can't function. Okay, just like now, me and you are talking now. I've not gone through that process.
Mm.
So I'm going to talk boldly. I'm
Mm.
very confident of what I'm going to say. So when I'm advocating, but you see, when they are talking, they are ashamed of themselves, self esteem. They don't enjoy sex actually, because, just like it's a force to
Mm.
them and all that. There are a lot of there are a lot of things actually.
Yeah, please go into it. You look like you have something to say. Yeah.
I'm just trying to
Mm.
recapping the process they
Mm.
go through for them to be circumcised. There's this video we saw, and they'll keep a big woman will sit, and they put the child down,
Mm.
and they'll cut the child. The child will be shouting. The child will be
Mm.
crying. They spill blood spillage, and if not careful, you could lose someone,
Mm.
because there's no medical care at that time. So they're using a razor. And the fact is, do you even know if this razor, how many people they've used it for? So you see, it's medically not even proper for such barbaric. So I asked, how comfortable are you? What prompts you to do that?
Okay, moving on. And you're talking about, you just mentioned blood and using razor blade for the process. Now, one begins to wonder: is there a link between FGM and HIV? The risk of getting HIV.
Yes, very, 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 very. Sometimes in 2015, when I was working with FHI, so we had a TBA. She was HIV positive,
Mm.
and she uses razor. So these people, they use razor very well, and they're not exposed. They do it in the local setting. So HIV does not need plenty blood, just small.
Hmm.
Not just pass small.
Mm.
The thing will tell you what I go do. So you could see yourself very free now, and it's what they call window period. So in the next 3 months, who was to see? We had a terrible case of a child that was positive, and the dad was negative, the mom was negative. That's story for another day. But if you're talking about FGM, and we're talking about the people doing this process, there's every tendency that there's a high risk for the child for HIV. Very, 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 because the person that is doing the cutting has not been tested. So if the person is not tested and confirmed, unfortunately, if the person is under the window period, as in the person doing this barbaric stuff
Yeah.
is under the window period and comes to do this, and maybe unfortunately or unconsciously, the thing cut her, and while she was doing that, and she did not take the razor, didn't cut the child, but the razor cut her.
Yeah.
Now, the small blood that came out from her body just passed to where that stuff is. And this,
Okay, I feel it's quite heavy for you to actually process because I can see you're actually emotional about it
Mm.
right now.
Okay, so let's move on to something else. You know, one of the strong reasons they have for practicing FGM is the fact that they're trying to curb promiscuity
mm,
among females. You know, when we circumcise you, you will not be able to do what other people are doing now. And I believe that to tackle any situation, you have to go down to the reason for it. Now, what other ways can we ensure that our ladies are not promiscuous in order to stop people from thinking FGM is the way to stop them from being promiscuous?
for me, FG is
Mm,
not a way to stop promiscuity,
mm,
seriously, because even if the child undergo the process,
mm,
is she having sex? Yes, she is. Someone wants to have sex, the person will have sex. So that's not an avenue. Sex is sometimes in the mindset.
Okay.
It's just a mindset. If you put your mind, just like you have the urge and you now say, okay, so let me doing that, yeah, let me carry paper, let me start writing, engage yourself. That
mm.
thought is out. So if you have the time, so for me, it was just out of fear. It was fear that made them to make that cultural decision at that time. So that fear, we awareness is going on now, and I've seen a lot of people advocating. There's this traditional leader that the sister died through the process. So as we speak, he's also an advocate
Mm.
for us, because it's not something you plan for anyone. It's not something you pray it should happen to anyone. So for me, FGM is not an avenue to stop promiscuity. It's never.
Okay, now we've discussed the, what FGM is, the reasons why they actually practice, the consequences. Now let us look, what is the way forward? How can we in this climb, in this particular era, because I know it's still happening. People are still practicing. And you might think it is just in the rural area.
Mm.
You'll be
Mhm.
shocked that people
Even
down
in
in this
even in
Calabar
even in
here.
this Calabar, there was a case that happened earlier this year about a doctor who was beating the wife because the wife didn't want the child to go through the process.
A
A
doctor.
doctor.
Yes, teaching hospital.
Okay, so now if that is still happening, how do we stop this, Witness?
The best way is one of the process we are doing now. Talking about it. Every child has the right to live a normal life, to create awareness, go to the rural area, go to communities, and if you find one of the things is there's a law. Yeah, there's a law that binds it. Yeah. So if anyone that does this, the law is being implemented.
Okay.
Yes. And it's not just we have the law, but the law is not
Mm.
implemented. There's a difference between knowing how to cooking rice and the rice being sweet, and you
Mm.
eat. You've cooked the rice, but is the rice sweet? If the rice is not sweet, can you eat it? No. So if you have the law, and the law is not being implemented, are you achieving what you want to achieve? So that is why a lot of civil societies are advocating, and as they are advocating, we are also talking, collaborating. So I know a hospital, if we have a case of FGM, we could try to. I know a legal office. If
Okay.
anything should happen, I could just call for legal aid. So I know an organization for psychosocial support, because the truth is, it brings down their social self-esteem. You see people talking and they can't talk freely, they can't express themselves. But people who are willing to get healing are the people that talk. That's why I said at the beginning, if you see someone that has gone through the process and the person is speaking out, please, what you need to do is just to build the person's self-confidence and give the person the go ahead to keep talking. Because when the person is talking, a lot of people are hearing it. Now, this is the survival. I've survived it. So this was what I went through. And I don't want it to happen to another person, because it wasn't a good experience. I can't even imagine. I think I went back, I went and asked my mother, did they do you that thing? Yeah, because it wasn't done. It wasn't done for all. Like, I had to, you have to ask these questions.
Yeah.
Mm.
Why did they do it? Now, is she promiscuous? No. But do you think those?
Shit, shit.
Mm.
The sheriff. Okay.
It is your power music and talk radio station, CRBC 105.5 Paradise FM Calabar. We apologize for the outage. Right now, we had a technical glitch at the office, but everything has been rectified right now. So we just have to continue the conversation we began with Atim Esor, Executive Director, Attica Initiative, and we've been talking about female genital mutilation, how horrible the experience is. We've had a robust conversation thus far, but we have to wrap up the show. So we'll call on Atim right now to give us her final words on FGM. You could just do a little recap of what we've talked about, and then you give your final word.
Okay. So far we were able to talk about what FGM is all about, and how this barbaric action is being done without the girl child consent. It's mostly on the girl child. How they go do for the boy child now?
You mean tell me you have nothing to say about that?
Mm. The men to also go through their own. So
No, not like this type. Sorry, you can't even say that, because the one they
Mm.
do for guys for your own good.
Yes.
Bros, no, do man, just don't allow, just allow that
No
lifestyle, make it
violence.
just
Let's not be
no
violent.
violence.
Okay.
but it's actually wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
for a female to go through this, I it's for on my own side. I think it's not the good. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want my child, anyone that's my friend, to be a female or to actually experience this. So I love the fact that there are actually laws and punishable
Yeah,
punishable what's it called now,
laws.
laws, that if anyone is caught doing this, they'll be punished for it. So that's a way forward.
Yeah. So for me, for FGM, I will not stop talking. I'll still keep talking. I'll keep talking and advocating to the end. And there's no place I can go and see how they're doing FGM. I will not want to try that. I don't want to see it physically. The Holy Spirit might not see it, because the person I'll catch doing it, whether I know you see this when they say mind your business. That's
Mm.
my business. I know they mind
Mm.
whatever it takes, because you don't know the trauma they pass through, that they need psychosocial support. Sometimes you won't see them talk. It makes them timid. Some of them timid. Some it may not, but there are a lot of people, understand. So for me, FGM is a no.
Mm.
It's a no, no, no matter what. Even if you want bill, what be the greatest car self I beg. One by give me, I don't want. That's how bad it is. So
Mm.
for me, I'll keep advocating, and we'll use social media space, we'll use the NGO sector, we'll keep leveraging with other organizations that are doing things about it, individuals like you now that have gotten knowledge about what FGM is, and I believe wherever you're going to find yourself or hear people talking about it, you could be able to also advocate to speak about it, since you think it's not good and since you know it is not good. I tell people what you don't want it to do to you, why should you do to another person? So that's it.
All right. Thank you very much, Executive Director, Articare Initiative, Atom Soul, for that session. It was amazing.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right. So she ended on a very good note. You who is now aware of what's happening, you are now aware of the dangers, the consequences, the horrible effects of FGM. Wherever you see it being practiced, speak up. There are laws against it. All right. So that's where we end. Stop FGM. Anywhere you are, anywhere you see anybody doing it, report them to the right authorities.